Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so it has been a minute since I have done any sort of reading wrap up on this channel. The last one that I did was for March of this year. Now, I did post a short detailing like what I read in April and May, so there is that, but I haven't talked at all on this channel about what I read in June or July, so we're going to do that today, so yeah, let's just get right on into it. If you see me looking over this way, it's because I've got my notes over here, so I will be reading like the descriptions of what I'm talking about over here. So if you see me looking this way, that's what I'm doing. Alrighty, so let's begin with what I read in June. First off, I read Lose You to Find Me by Eric J. Brown. Now, the description of this one lies. So, okay. The description of this one makes it sound like, just a YA romance with like co-workers to lovers in a restaurant setting. That's what the official description makes it sound like, but let me tell y'all what this actually is about. So, what this actually is it's a YA coming of age story about this guy who starts working with his old summer camp crush and then experiencing a lot of confusion and heartbreak to eventually realize that it's okay to let the past go and forge a new path for yourself, even if change is scary and figuring out what you want in life is hard. Now, I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. In my opinion, and this I think is reflected a lot in like the top Goodreads reviews, the mismarketing of this book in its description versus what it actually is does a major, major, major disservice to this book because you go in expecting like a cute little run-of-the-mill rom-com, and then you're quickly hit with like lies, toxicity, cheating, all this sort of stuff, and it's like, ooh, no, like no. There were many points when I considered DNFing it, and I'm glad that I didn't because taking it as what it actually is, I actually do like it sort of. Like it's not a favorite by any means, but I like that the author took a little risk and did a little tried to do something different in the contemporary romance space, and I like I respect the vision. I like the end moral lesson that the author has. Just all around, I really really do respect the vision. I think the characters are really really messy, especially the main one. But I really do like the journey and the sludge that these people go through to get to their end point. So on its own, I think it's really really interesting, but I think if it had been marketed correctly instead of being marketed as a run-of-the-mill rom-com book, if it had actually been honest about what it is about, the reviews for it would be a lot less mixed. Because yeah, like I said, you go into it expecting one thing, and then when that expectation is not met, it's like, oh, like this is not what I signed up for. So yeah, it took me about like 60% of the way through for me to eventually just like recalibrate my brain to be like, okay, this is not what I thought it would be going into it. It is something completely different. Let's take it as it is. And then once I started doing that, I actually had a much more enjoyable time with this book. I really, really did. So yeah, so yeah, it's not bad. Like I respect the vision. It's just that it's highly, highly mismarketed. Next is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This adult literary fiction is a coming of age story for this woman who has always followed the straight and narrow, worked hard, got her PhD in astronomy, all that kind of stuff, tries to make her dad proud, etc. She ends up going on a girls' trip to Vegas and one night drunkenly gets married to this woman she has never met before, and this sets her off on a journey of for once questioning what she wants from life instead of, following what others want her to do. I unfortunately DNF'd this one. Now, I asterisked on the DNF part because I think that maybe like 5 years or so when I hit my late 20s, I might come back to this. I really, really do. It's just that right now, I really don't think that I'm the right audience for this one whatsoever because this very much is for like late 20s, early 30s people, especially late 20s people who are like having an identity crisis, quarter life crisis. There it is. There's the word, a quarter life crisis. I really think that this is targeted for that demographic, and me being in my, well, now mid 20s, I don't particularly have that feeling. I don't. So yeah, I'm just not the right audience for it. To me, it was just boring. Like I got about halfway through and I was just like, I can't. It was becoming a slog to get through. It really, really was. It was just so very boring to me. But again, I'm not the right audience, and maybe in like 5 years, I might come back to it and really enjoy it. So yeah, like it wasn't bad by any means. Like the writing was very, very good. Next is The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. This YA fantasy is about a boy who is chosen to compete in his country's legendary competition known as the Sunbearer Trials, fitting the title, of course. The point of the trials is for 10 teens to compete for the honor of being selected by the sun god to bring newly rejuvenated protective sunstones to all of the temples across the lands, while the loser is sacrificed to the sun god to have their body empower said protective sunstones. And I gave this one a 4.4 out of 5 stars. I really want to give this one out of 5 star. I really, really do because I loved it. I loved the world. I loved the plot. I loved the writing. I loved the characters. I love it. I love this, and I'm so excited to read the sequel soon. I don't exactly know when I'm going to read the sequel, but I'm going to read it at some point. Oh my God, I love this book so freaking much. I really, 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 really want to give it 5 stars, but I can't in good faith just because there were some pivotal scenes. There was a pivotal scene in the beginning when we were just starting the plot, and there was a pivotal scene during the climax where I was struggling to picture what was going on. I really, really was. It like just the way that some things were written during those specific sections. But like other than that, I so enjoyed this. Like it was so freaking good. I will say there are so many books, especially the ones that came out like during the height of the YA dystopia phase, that have been like incorrectly compared to Hunger Games. But like this one legitimately does have Hunger Games vibes. Like if you like Hunger Games, if you like the concept of Hunger Games of just like teenagers going on reality TV to compete in a deadly competition, you will like this because it does have that similarity to Hunger Games. It really, really does. In a good way. In a good way. Like not in a cheap copy and pasta way. Like this is very much still its own way, but it just has that kind of similar vibe to that. Also, just the like very existence of a book like this is just so refreshing in this day and age of publishing. 'Cause y'all, this is a lower YA Latinx fantasy set in a world where every shade of queerness is normalized. Like you don't see books like that. You don't see books that check off all of those different types of boxes. You really, really don't. You are lucky to see books published in this day and age that check off like one, two, maybe three of those boxes. Like not all of those boxes altogether. So the fact that this exists and is like decently popular and pretty decently marketed, a win, a win, a win. Next is Cleat Cute by Meryl Wilsner. This adult romance is about these two professional soccer players who get into a secret romance while trying to win their team the World Cup. I DNF'd this one. I did. This one, I don't know how else to say this nicely. This one felt like fast fashion for books. It did. It did. I'm sorry. There was not really anything happening. The characters were extremely, extremely shallow. I'm talking not even kiddie pool level shallow. Like it just no, no. Oh my God, it was very, very boring, and the writing was not it either, and the characters were not it either. Like, there was just nothing here for me. Also, the sex scenes, oh my God, like, literally crossing over between chapters. Like, I'm literally talking about, like, they would have a sex scene that they would both climax, end the chapter, start another chapter, the sex scene continues, and then we climax again. I'm sorry, it gets to a point where when you are doing the same sex scene across multiple chapters, it gets to a point. It's like let's get an editor in. I'm sorry, like it goes on for way too long. In my taste, maybe you are disagree with that. Like if you just love very long sex scenes, You'll probably like this. Anyway, let's move on. A Gentleman's Gentleman by T.J. Alexander. This adult historical romance is about a reclusive trans man who is being threatened to have his entire lordship taken away if he doesn't fulfill the wishes of his late father's will and find a wife within the next few months. Sounds like an easy enough solution, especially since courting season is about to start back up again, except there's two problems. A, obviously it's daunting to find someone who will be accepting and discreet about his identity, and B, he's developing a crush on his newly hired and strikingly handsome valet. Now, I gave this one a 3.1 out of 5 stars. It was quick, it was easy to read, it was sweet, it was very, very nice. It was just a decent time all around. I do think it could have been much longer because at that point we could have really fleshed things out. We could have fleshed out the plot, we could have fleshed out the characters, and all that sort of stuff. Like it did kind of feel like a Cliff Notes version of a story, but like overall, it wasn't a bad time. I did like the twist. The twist kind of gagged me. I will say that. Like when the twist happened, I was like, "Oh, okay, love that." Next is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This YA fantasy centers on this guy who goes to this magical boarding school and is supposed to be the chosen one to fight the big evil villain who is terrorizing the wizarding world, except that everything is going to crap and his magic is unreliable at best. I gave this one a DNF. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look, the reason that I picked this one up is because I went on Google, I went on Goodreads, and I searched up, gay fantasy. Because, like, I love fantasy, and I love my romance to be gay, obviously. So, this was highly recommended when I searched that up. And I figured, you know what? The cover's gorgeous, it sounds decently interesting, and it's highly recommended, so why not? Let's give it a chance. Yeah, no, horrible, horrible. I'm so sorry. This was horrible. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is just glorified Harry Potter fan fiction. It really is. It's not even like the Love Hypothesis or something. It's not even like the Hurricane Wars or whatever. I've heard that that one's like a Raylo fan fiction. Like it's not even like normal fanfic to traditionally published pipeline type of books that you see a lot nowadays. Because with a lot of like newer fanfic to published works type of books, they can at least stand on their own once you strip away the IP. This one, no. This is literally just Harry Potter. This is literally just Harry Potter. It's just changed names. That's it. Oh my God. And it's like, babe, if I wanted to read Harry Potter fan fiction, I would get on AO3. If I wanted to read, baseline Harry Potter, I would pick up the fucking books that I own. Like, oh my God. Like, darling, darling. Oh my God. Oh my God. I will say I wanted to stick this out to kind of figure out like what type of shipping dynamic it was. Like I wanted to figure out if it was a glorified Harry Draco fan fiction or if it was like a glorified Harry Ron fan fiction. I'm guessing the former. I'm guessing the former just based on the concept. But like I literally could not stick it out long enough to find out. This was irritating me so freaking badly. Oh my God. Just okay. Aside from it being glorified Harry Potter fan fiction, anyway, I will say that the main character was just a fucking asshole. He was so annoying from page 1 until like I DNF'd it at like what 25% of the way through? I don't know. He was so freaking unlikable. It was like, dude, stop fucking bitching and whining 24/7. I swear to God. Oh my God. Also, the big bad evil villain plotline thing with because Simon's supposed to be like the chosen one or whatever. That whole thing is so fucking vague to the point where I legit have no idea what the fuck the author is talking about. I have no idea what is going on because the book refuses to say what is going on. Like, oh my God. Like, you literally, to make sense of the whole, like, actual legitimate plot that this book is supposed to be, with the whole, like, chosen one, big bad evil villain terrorizing the world thing, you literally just have to imagine that Voldemort's here. Like, you literally just have to imagine that. Because, like, what's actually going on? the book refuses to tell you. At least as far as I got in, because it's like, oh my God, like I kept one because like the characters kept going on about this like whole chosen one, evil villain thing, blah 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 blah, and I was like, okay, can somebody explain this conflict to me? Can somebody explain this fucking war to me? Cause no, you're being so vague about it. Oh my God, I cannot. Next is Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma R. Albin. This new adult historical romance is marketed as Sapphic Bridgerton meets The Parent Trap. And that is honestly the best way to put it. That really, really is. That marketing is on point. So it's courting season in the Ton, and these two ladies meet and quickly become really good friends. Neither of them wants to marry a man, but they need the security of marriage for one reason or another, so they're in a pickle. However, Beth has a recently widowed mother and Gwen has a single dad, so the two ladies are like, hey, our parents may not like each other right now, but they clearly have some kind of vibe, so let's try and get them to marry in order to solve our problem so that we don't have to marry any men. Point blank, period. Love that for them. And during this whole scheme, the friends start catching feelings for each other. Now, I gave this a 3.7 out of 5 stars. Now, it was cute. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It did give me very much Bridgerton vibes. Like, it really did scratch that itch that I usually get with Bridgerton. It really, really did, and I love that. I've never seen The Parent Trap, any version of it, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, there were some moments where the main characters were being like a little melodramatic, a bit like, okay, like get up off the floor, basically. But like, you know what? It's new adult. A little melodrama never hurt anybody. So yeah, I had a good time with it. And I will be reading the sequel spin-off at some point. I don't know when, but at some point I will be. And then the final book for June is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is an adult science fantasy, and I'm gonna be so honest, y'all, I don't know exactly what is going on here. I think, keyword think, it is about this lady who is serving this necromancer courtier as her bodyguard, and they are entering a competition of ascension that the emperor is putting on. I think you can already tell that I DNF'd this one. Look. I know that everybody loved this. I know it was very, very hyped a few years ago. I know. I get it. I simply could not understand what was going on. I'm sorry, I could not. I kept going and going. I kept trying to understand and really, really pay attention, but I could not understand what the hell was going on. Like I really, really could not. Um, yeah, it's not the book's fault, it's just me. So, yeah, but the writing was good. The writing was good, I will say that. And Gideon has a very interesting voice. She does. But yeah, it just wasn't enough for me to keep going because I really just could not understand what the hell was going on. Anyway, but if you love it, I love that for you. Moving right along into July, we have Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This adult contemporary classic is about a black woman on a journey to find herself and her happiness after spending decades in abusive situations. And I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, fun fact about this one. I didn't have to read this one in school, but it was an option for me. Okay, so like in my high school, the way that we did it was at the beginning of every single year, we would get an assignment of being like, okay, hey, we're going to need y'all to read a book. So, here's a list, pick one from here, and then you will follow the curriculum based on that book. That is how my school did assigned reading, so we would be able to pick a book that we wanted from a list. And this was on a list for one year. I think I ended up going with The Outsiders for that year. I think it was like 10th grade. But this one sounded really, really interesting, and I saved it to my Goodreads for years. And I was like, I'm gonna read it one day. I'm going to read it one day. And this just turned out to be the time. It turned out to finally be the time that I read this one. And I am so glad, I'm so glad that I did save this one to be read one day because I freaking love this book. It is so freaking good. I love the plot. I love Gianni funny and her story from start to finish. I love the writing. The writing is so freaking good and so poetic. Like this author really, really, really is so freaking good and she knows how to string words together. And also, she just really does know how to immerse you in a setting. Like she really, really does. Like there are scenes with like, different people in the towns that we go to, and it really does just put you like there. She really does just transport you into this world. Like I freaking love this book. It's so freaking good, y'all. Also, side note, it was kind of funny listening to this one on audio because the narrator very much has like a southern dialect to it, which makes sense because we are in Florida. And it was kind of so funny listening to this one on audio because the dialect used and like the just the descriptions of like where we were and everything, it was very much reminding me of like my family, of like my mother's side of the family, because like they are very much born and raised in Florida and southern. Like it was very much giving that. It was very much feeling like we're going to a family reunion of sorts, basically. So yeah, it was just a fun time overall. I really did love this book. It's so freaking good, y'all. Y'all should really go listen to it or read it, however you want to consume it. Next is The Darkness Before Them by Matthew Ward. This is an adult fantasy, and I'm also going to be honest, you can probably tell where this is going. I don't really know what this one's about. The description reads like a D&D campaign by just saying that there is a war, and there's a girl who goes on an adventure reluctantly. I don't know. I don't know. So, if you haven't already been able to tell, I DNF this one. Unfortunately, and I was kind of excited for this one. Like it's adult fantasy. I want to read more adult fantasy, and the cover is very, very beautiful. So, yeah, I'm kind of sad that this one didn't work out. Look, I got like an hour or two into this, and I don't think we even reached the inciting incident yet. But you best be sure that we described every crumb and speck of dirt in the world. Yep. And look, when I read a book, I want a story. I don't want like 600 pages of world building. I'm sorry, I don't. Anyway, moving on. Next is Such Charming Liars by Karen M. McManus. This YA mystery centers on this girl and boy who were once step siblings and end up running into each other at this billionaire's birthday party several years after the parents split. The girl has a mother who works as a jewel thief, and they're planning to break into the birthday party to steal a necklace worth millions of dollars. The boy has a dad who is trying to marry into the rich family for money. Things go to shit at the party, one of the rich uncles is murdered, and now the entire weekend is thrown into chaos as the two former siblings and their new friend from the rich family work together to figure out how the heck to get out of this safely. And I gave this one a 4.7 out of 5 stars. Oh, this one brought back feelings of like why I originally fell in love with Karen M. McManus's work. Y'all, this was fun. This was entertaining. This was gripping from start to finish, and it was so well paced. It was so fast paced in a fun way. Oh my God, I really did enjoy the main characters. And I was so excited to read what would happen next whenever I picked this one up. Like, oh my God, I was so excited to get through this one. Having said that, the mystery itself is a little bit clunky in my opinion, and the majority of the supporting cast is underutilized. Like they don't really appear too much on the page, so when certain things happen during the climax with them, it's like, oh, okay, it didn't hit as emotionally as it could have. But other than that, overall, I had a really, 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 really fun time with this one. I really did enjoy it, and it inspired me to get Karen M. McManus's other book that I had not read yet. I think it's called Nothing More to Tell, which you will be seeing at some point. You will be seeing that one at some point. Next is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. This adult mystery is about this group of old college friends and their partners who go on a vacation to a luxury camping retreat to celebrate New Year's. There's quite a bit of animosity and secrets within the group, so tensions are extremely high, and someone from the group ends up dead by the end of the trip. Lovely. Now, I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, first of all, y'all, I finally managed to figure out who the killer was in a book. I really, really did. I have been itching for so long to be able to at least once be able to call the murderer, and I did. I did in this one. Now, some people might say, "Oh, but that doesn't that means that the book wasn't that well written." I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I've been wanting to figure out the murderer in a book for so long, and I finally did. So I am very, very happy about that. Sorry, again, a tongue tie tonight. I don't know why. Anyway, I very much enjoyed this. It is in the bottom two for me in terms of like ranking Lucy Foley's books, but this is her first mystery novel that she wrote, so I would kind of be disappointed if her other ones weren't as good as this one, but you know, they are. Her other ones do surpass this one, so I'm very happy about that. Now, having said that, even though this is one of her weaker mysteries for me, it was still very enjoyable. I love the plot. I like the mess. I love the mess. Y'all, the mess was fun. It really, really was. I enjoyed the following the POV characters. However, like about half, I want to say like half of the friends in the group were just kind of warm bodies for all they did. They really, really were. And these like secondary mystery that is present like in the background of the book, it kind of just feels like it's there to explain away some of the more glaring red herrings that this book has, and like nothing really else. However, I will say, especially after reading The Midnight Feast, where I felt that the ending of that one was just too clean cut, everything is just too happily ever after. I'm so glad that the ending of this one was like, damn, person one, two, and three kind of got away with things, didn't they? Damn, yeah, they kind of got away with their shitty behavior. Fuck. So I really did love that. I love that the ending was like close, but also kind of messy. Like we kind of let people get away with their mess a little bit. Some people, not everyone, but some people. I love that. Next is Together in a Broken World by Paul Michael Winters. This YA dystopian romance centers on these two boys who meet and try to survive traveling the wastelands of the US after essentially a zombie apocalypse has struck. They're both trying to get to Seattle. One guy because he's delivering a vital ingredient to a team of researchers trying to develop a cure for the sickness, and the other just wants to get to Seattle to see if his loved ones survive the apocalypse, and along the way, the two of them catch feelings for each other. I unfortunately DNF'd this one, but also with an asterisk that I might return to it at some point, whether this year, next year, something. I don't exactly know. Like, even when I DNF'd this one, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of want to keep going. Like, I don't know. I was very much caught in between of like whether or not I wanted to continue this one or not. Yeah, I really, really was. Because like I was kind of interested, but I was also like really, really bored. Yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, I'll probably return to it someday, but like I was just so freaking bored. I really, really was. Because just like, oh my God, there was no tension. There was no tension whatsoever. Like every single time, every single threat that appeared on page, it would just be like, okay, bad thing appears on page for like a page or two and then is off. And then the two main characters just like get away scot-free, basically. Like not really any scratches whatsoever. And so it's just like, okay, that's boring. That's boring. Like, especially in a post-apocalyptic thing where you would assume like, okay, dangerous wastelands, every man out for himself, all that kind of stuff. You would expect like, okay, if I'm seeing like a stranger or if I'm in the woods encountering like a wild beast or whatever, I would expect like, you know, the characters to be in like substantial danger. Like I want to fear for these bitches. I really, really do. I want to fear for their lives, even though we got like 200 pages left. Like I want to fear for their lives. And I just never did. I just never did. I always just knew that, like, okay, this is a new thread of the week, whatever, is just going to come on and then go away in like 2 seconds, and they're gonna be fine by the end. Like, okay, they might lose a little bit of supplies, but other than that, like, oh well, who cares? Like, they're gonna be fine. And then the romance part is just like, okay, like, the romance part for the most part is just the two of them like looking at each other and thinking like, damn, he's hot. Damn, he's hot. And just like, okay, I get it. Like they're attracted to each other. Like I get it. Like I would kind of expect the two leads of a romance to be attracted to each other. Like I really would. So like I don't need to be reminded every 5 seconds that they find each other physically attractive. You know? Like I don't. I don't. I don't. And also, I will say, pet peeve of mine, I hate when older authors write YA and then the references that they put in are like not YA at all. Like they're like throughout the book, they're the two of guys keep referencing songs from like the mid 20th century. I don't even know what the fuck the songs they're referencing. I've never heard of these songs whatsoever. But like they keep referencing and singing along to these random ass songs that they know, and it's like, okay, like girl, girl, I'm so sorry. Like, okay, one of them knowing like these random ass like hidden gems from like the 60s or whatever, I could understand that because like different people are brought up different ways and different people have different tastes, like whatever. But both of them like knowing these just all these random ass like 1950s, 1960s, 1970 songs from like who God knows where, just like randomly knowing them by heart. Both of them know all these random songs by heart. Be so serious. Not one of these freaking boys is like thinking like, ooh, you know what? Let's sing some Ariana Grande next to the campfire. Let's sing some Dua Lipa next to the campfire. Really? They're like a few years younger than me, and neither one of them are thinking that. Really, really. Okay, sure, Jan. It's just a pet peeve of mine that a lot of older authors do that when they're trying to write YA is they don't think of like references that would be appropriate for YA and YA audiences. But like, yeah. Anyway, next is Heavenly Tyrant by Jiran J. Zhao. This new adult sci-fi is the sequel to the book Iron Widow, which I read back in 2022, I think. Yeah, I think I did read it back in 2022 because I at least had a channel at that point. Anyway, basically, at the end of the first book, the main lady destroys the government, and this one is about her going, well, now what? So, how are we gonna fix this? And basically just trying to figure out how to like navigate this new society and accomplish her goals for change while new powerful threats try to push back against her and threaten her loved ones at every single turn. Now, I gave this one a 3.7 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this one much more than Iron Widow. I will say that. Here's the thing. This is one of those books where it's like, if you love the first one, you'll probably hate the sequel. Like, just based on the Goodreads, a lot of the people who were like, oh my God, I love the first one, like, really ended up hating this one. But if you're like someone like me, who was like, kind of like, meh at best about the first one, you'll probably end up liking this one, at least somewhat, at least somewhat. And I say that because the first one is very much your like typical gaslight gatekeep girl boss type of like liberal feminist type book. It really, really is. Like whatever you think of when you think gaslight gatekeep girl boss, that's what Iron Widow is. Now, this one changes that tone and takes on a much more like political manifesto, leftist leaning type of new world order type of thing and whatnot. It does with of course a feminist twist on it because that is the whole thing that the book hinges on is its feminism. So that shift in tone is why I think like people who love the first one hate this one, and people like me who were kind of like meh on the first one ended up kind of liking this one. Now, a couple of things for me personally. First of all, this is very long. This is very, very long. It was like 21 hours, y'all. It was arguably too long. Like it could have been cut in some places, especially like towards the middle because like the middle part of it does get quite telly at certain parts. However, the politics discussed in this book were interesting to me. Like, it really did hook me, and I was, like, keeping pace and like wanting to see where things were going to go next. Like, I never once thought about DNFing this. Like, it always kept me invested. Some of the supporting cast, especially some of the women characters, they felt just kind of like mouthpieces for some of the politics in this book, which I really do wish that they had been more fleshed out and developed, especially considering, again, this is very long. It's 21 hours on audio. Like, girl, y'all, people, oh my God. Ugh. Anyway, but like yeah, overall, the politics that the author was discussing in this one, it was very interesting to see their mind at work. It really, really was. I liked getting into their mind basically with their whole political manifesto in this one. It was very interesting. The action stuff towards the end of this book was starting to lose me. Again, it goes back to if you love the first one, you'll probably hate this one because a lot of the people who were fans of the first one said that the ending with all the actiony and parts and stuff was kind of the best part and the only part that they found interesting. For me, it was kind of the more lackluster part. So, but yeah, it was never like fully taking me out of everything and and never like making me roll my eyes or whatever, but it was kind of the actiony stuff at the towards the end was kind of making me like start to fade a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know why we kept a certain someone alive. I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna reveal anything, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I don't know why we kept a certain someone alive because I felt like that character served their purpose in this book. I really, really did, and we've got much more bigger conflict in going forward in the series. So like I don't feel like that person should have been kept alive. I really, really don't. I don't. Yeah, anyway. Also, I will say this book is going to challenge you if you say you love morally gray characters. If you say you love morally gray characters and then say you like, I don't know, fucking Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses, oh, you're in for a ride, honey. You are. You're in for a ride. That statement of like, "Oh my God, I love more of the great characters" is going to be put to the test with this one. It really, really is. Because the Emperor dude, Qing oh, he's gonna test you if you say you love more of the great characters. Now, I have never said that I love more of the great characters. I personally have never said that. So I found him to be a bastard. But I can recognize that he did some good. He did some good beneficial things for the world, but he also did a lot of fucked up shit. He did. He really, really did do a lot of fucked up shit. So I don't like him. But I've never said that I like more of the great characters. So if you're someone who says that you like more of the great characters and you just come away thinking that this is like enemies to lovers type of villain, is just straight up villain and nothing else, like no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Which, by the way, some people were saying that this is like enemies to lovers. It's not. Like, girl, that's not a romance. This is not a romance. Even the book itself acknowledges that this thing with the emperor and the main lady is not a romance. Anyway, so I don't know why people were trying to assign this as enemies to lovers, because like even the book itself is like, no, bitch, it's not. I'm not enemies to lovers. Like, dude, fuck this guy. But anyway, like if you do not come away with complicated feelings about Qing, oh baby, you don't like morally great characters. You just like the aesthetic of a bad boy. You just like the aesthetic of a bad boy that just has a heart of gold underneath. Cause like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, this one's really gonna put you to the test if you say you like morally great characters. Anyway, next is The Kill Order by James Dashner. This YA dystopia is a prequel to the Maze Runner series and follows this guy named Mark 1 year after the apocalypse struck. Essentially, the government is manufacturing a disease and spreading it to what's left of the population, so Mark and his mentor go off to investigate what the heck is up with that whole situation. They run into various problems along the journey, especially when their friends are kidnapped and taken hostage by the government and then sold to another group of like um people essentially. And I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars. Yeah, the girl, this could have been a novella. I don't know why that this was a full novel. I really, really don't. This literally could have been just a novella for all that is revealed. Like, look, there are two major things that get revealed in this book. One is the origins of the Sunflare virus. So, yeah, which was decently interesting. It was decently interesting, but for all that it's relevant to the plot, it could have been a novella. And also, too, the major other thing that connects this to the trilogy as a whole is it gives us Teresa's backstory. She's never named as Teresa, but by the end, you can kind of figure, like, oh, okay, Dee Dee's Teresa, blah, blah, blah. Which yes is confirmed later on. Anyway, but like I don't know why the fuck the author decided to give us Teresa's backstory. Cause like, girl, he fucks her over again and again in the main trilogy. Like he does not give a fuck about her. So it's like, bitch, don't fucking try and tell me that like you care about her now suddenly to give her whole backstory to us. Like, don't fucking try me with that. Like, oh my god, cause you fucked her over in the second and third book. You did. You know you did. Because she essentially went from being a main character in the first one to being a background character in the third one. Be so serious. Anyway, but like as for the plot itself, oh my god, girl, it just follows a bunch of like nothing characters that I just don't care about. I don't care about Mark. I don't care about Alec. I don't care about Trina. I don't care about the other lady that they were with, whose name I don't even remember at this point. And also, mind you, this book's just official description literally says that this is Mark and Trina's story, who is supposed to be like his best friend, his crush, all that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. Fuck the crush. She's just a damsel in distress off the page most of the time, along with that other lady whose name I don't remember. This book is actually Mark and Alec's story. It's literally Mark going off on an adventure, learning how to be like a masculine man with his war veteran mentor and shit like that. Girl, so like I was like I don't know why the official description lied to everyone and said that this was Mark and Trina's like a little romance story when it's not. It's literally just like Mark and Alec going off on an adventure to learn how to be like real men and shit. Um which is part of the reason why I just kind of don't give a fuck because girl. Anyway, like, yeah, bitch. The fucking war veterans plot line, manly man shit is really gonna appeal to me. Like, please, bitch, please. Anyway, girl, anyway, please. But even for people who would like that kind of storyline, I can't see this being interesting because everybody's just kind of boring. Everybody's just kind of dull. It's not that they're not fleshed out. Like these, like aside, like of course the women are not fleshed out because James Dasher does not know how to write women whatsoever, and I stand by that. But like even the male characters who are like actually fleshed out characters, they're just boring. They're dull. I don't give a fuck about them. And like it's just all this sort of shit. I don't care about these people. I don't care about these people. And aside from delivering Teresa to Wicked, they just don't fucking matter in the grand scheme of everything. They don't fucking matter. So I don't know why they needed a whole dedicated book to these people. Like I really don't. Look, at the end of the day, I do not check out the Maze Runner books from my library because they are like literary masterpieces, just like beacons and peak of storytelling. Like I do not. I come to them as like popcorn adventure books. I really, really do. I come for to just like the popcorn turn my brain off type of shit. I really, really do. But even still, even with that incredibly low bar, this was just not it. It was by far the worst book of the series that I've read so far. Anyway. Next is The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. This YA coming of age contemporary centers on these teens who are voting for the first time on election day. Presidential election, mind you. The girl is like super type A about voting and getting people to do their civic duty and all that. Meanwhile, when the boy shows up to the voting place, he runs into some problems because he's not at the right location and doesn't know which location he's supposed to go to. So when the girl overhears this, she's like, hey bitch, get in my car. We're gonna spend the day figuring this out so you can go vote. And over the course of the day, they bond while shenanigans ensue. And I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. This was just lovely from start to finish. I love this one. I loved Marva and Duke as characters. I loved the plot. I loved all of the antics. I loved the character arcs that the two of them went on. I loved all of it. I loved the moral message of this book of like, yes, bitch, go fucking vote. Because like, okay, yeah, even for me who like doesn't really believe in the system, especially with like the electoral college and stuff, it's still important to go fucking do your civic duty. Like, yeah, bitch, it really, really is. Like, take it from someone who does not believe in politicians or any of that, does not have any faith in the current system whatsoever. Still fucking go vote when the time comes. Like, I better see y'all at the midterms. I better see y'all at the midterms. I will say some of the side characters were kind of underdeveloped, especially the ones in Duke's Garage Band. But yeah, they could have used more layers, more time on screen and stuff like that. But it didn't detract from my overall enjoyment of this book. I will say that. Like, overall, I really did love this book. Next is From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks. This middle grade contemporary centers on a girl whose birth father has been in prison her entire life for allegedly murdering someone. On her 12th birthday, she gets a letter from him and then starts getting to know him via letters. You know, they're sending letters back and forth, where she finds out that her dad may have been wrongly convicted for the crime. So, with the help of her best friend, and keeping this all a secret from her parents, she sets out to find evidence that proves her father's alibi and proves his innocence. And I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Y'all, another one from start to finish. From start to finish, I love this one. It's so freaking good. Y'all, I literally finished this in a day. In a day. I know it's only 6 hours on audiobook, but like literally, I could not put this down. Like, it's so freaking good. It's so freaking cute. It's so freaking charming. I love Zoe as a character. I really, really do. Like, she is so enjoyable and likable as a main character. I love the plot. I love the writing. I love all of the like side plot stuff with like Zoe and her dreams of becoming a baker and like her like making all these different like cupcake recipes and like her cupcake internship and all this type of stuff. I loved everything about this. I love the main plot, and I love the characters. I love the side characters, especially Grandma. Like, protect Grandma at all cost. Like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I also loved how, yes, this is middle grade, so it very much has like a fun, youthful, energetic vibe to it, but the author does not like dumb down anything for this audience. The author very much trusts her young audience to handle a bit more seriousness. This book does get into some deeper discussion of like racial inequality within the justice system, of like of how like black people are wrongly convicted of crimes at a higher rate than white people are and put into prisons for crimes that they did not commit at a higher rate than white people are. It really does get into that, and how like, you know, not every single person who goes to jail is bad. Some people just get put in there because of, you know, the corrupt system that we have in place, and stuff like that, and how people who are in prison for stuff that they did not commit deserve a fair and just trial and defense and stuff like that. I very much loved how this author was very much like, you know what, we can trust the young audience with this. We can trust the young audience to get this and understand this and like open their mind a little bit as to some of the harsh realities of the world a little bit more. Like, I really, really did love that. I love that the author trusted her audience with that. And just overall, I love this book. It's so freaking good. It's just amazing. Like this should be a staple in every single school library across the country. It really, really should. It really, really should. And also, I will be reading the sequel at some point. I don't exactly know when, but at some point I will be reading the sequel. Anyway, the final book for this video is The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinin Huang. I am so sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. This adult literary romantic fantasy is about these two lovers who end up finding each other again and again throughout different lives. It follows three different time periods: an emperor and a courtier in 4 BC, an innkeeper and a traveler in the 1700s, and two college kids in present day. You witness the two souls be drawn to each other in each life, and, you know, the trials and tribulations that they go through for their love. I unfortunately DNF'd this one. I did. I made it about 42% of the way, and I was just like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm over this. I'm just, the vibes are not good here. I'm sorry. I just wasn't connecting with anything. I wasn't connecting with any of the different plots. I wasn't connecting with any of the different characters. I just wasn't connecting with any of the time periods at all. I just didn't really care about anything. Oh, sorry. I really, really wanted to like this one because I really have been wanting to read more like adult fantasy, and I've been wanting to read more like gay romantasy, and that's exactly what this is. But like, I just didn't really care about anything. I really didn't. And yeah, like that's just it. And also like the pacing was off. It felt very wonkily paced all over the place throughout much of the book. And it also just felt very, very insta-lovey, which again goes into the pacing problem. But like yeah, it really did feel very insta-lovey in all three of the different timelines. So I was just like, no, no, thank you. Like I'm over this, and I just decided to DNF it. Oh well. Cover is gorgeous though. I will say that. The cover, I love the cover. Even though I DNF this and I'm probably not going to revisit it, I may revisit it. I don't know. Even though I'm probably not going to revisit it, I'm going to keep this book in my collection just because of the cover. Like it's so fucking pretty. But yeah, that is all of the books that I read in June and July of this year. Tell me what your thoughts on any of these books are in the comments, and what are some books that y'all read in the past 2 months also. And, just tell me anything else that you want to tell me about this video in the comment section. And also, while you're still here, give a like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Go watch another video by mine. Why not? Why not? It's fun. Stay around a little bit. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.